letting the people be. And now I've gotten to the point where I think I'm not gonna.
It's driving him crazy if he can't be here.
I know. It's hard words. I don't wanna. It's not about my ego anymore. I wanna use my voice to empower people, like homeless people.
Hi there, Ian. I've been watching your videos for a little while now, and I have a question for you. Do you still believe that the Earth revolves around the sun? I mean, or have you been able to shed off this fallacy? I mean, because we all see, obviously, the sun passing across the sky every day. I mean, the scientists tell us that the Earth is rotating, and that's what's really happening. But I don't feel the Earth moving. Is there any evidence of the Earth moving? Well, actually, there's some pretty good evidence. Besides the fact that Copernicus and Galileo were able to figure out the equations that govern the revolution of the Earth around the sun, and they fit very well with what we observe in our calendar. Well, let me take you here into my bathroom. We're going to do a little experiment. You can actually, I'm going to ask some of my friends in Australia to repeat this so you can see. There's something called the Coriolis force, and well, it governs the way that your toilet flushes. So Ian, you want evidence that the Earth revolves around the sun? Here it is. Now in Australia that would have been the other way. And I always wanted to get on a plane and fly across the equator and see it change direction. But the thing about science is there's evidence for things. So when you say HIV doesn't cause AIDS, for example, that's the one that I think it's ironic that people got really angry about this one. They have no problem with you know, throwing out all the laws of physics, you know, whatever. That's kind of neat because maybe people don't understand them as well. But when you said HIV doesn't cause AIDS, oh, everybody got mad at you for that. But you bring up a good point about scientific inquiry, and that's that we're never 100% sure about anything, which is what makes science such an enlightened form of skepticism, is because if you can present me good evidence that something is not true, for example, you know, Newtonian physics was set up 400 years ago by very intelligent men, and it stood for 300 years. But then some experiments came along, Michelson-Morley, and then Eddington's observation during an eclipse, that showed that Newton's laws had to actually be modified when you were talking about things going really fast. And so that's how science progresses forward. As to the issue whether or not HIV causes AIDS, you know, molecular biology is not a completely developed science yet. I mean, so a lot of times in medicine, instead of trying to model this really complex system of molecules that are all interacting in our body, thousands and thousands of different molecules, you know, we take a shortcut and we look for correlations. Now, of course, it's important that you realize that correlation doesn't always imply causation, but in medicine especially, it's really all we have to go on in a lot of situations. And when there's a really good correlation like that between HIV and AIDS, I mean, there hasn't been a person yet who has lived their full life, you know, from birth to 70 years with HIV without developing AIDS. So, I mean, that's a pretty good indication right there. I mean, obviously the disease hasn't been around for 70 years, but I like your skepticism. Skepticism is an important thing, but you need to have enlightened skepticism. You need to look at all the different stories, and maybe the majority view is wrong, but you need to, if you don't want to believe that, you need to use the same skepticism against your alternative theories as well. And you need to remember that evidence is the basis of science, and not, you know, philosophical reasoning.